folks. Actually, she just made a pass into 31st position, so 32nd there was a moment to go, but she has quickly moved up one spot, and we go to the leaders right now, and we have a pass for the lead. Brad Stout has been taken to task by the number 94 Neumeister, so 94 is now your leader, and it is Bob Neumeister out of Pueblo, Colorado, a red line sponsored entry. That teal blue car out in front. Stout, the pole sitter, is in second position right now, and Lawhead in the red car in third. 4 cars have gotten away, and this is what I was talking about, Jim. See if you agree with me. Now they only have to worry about 3 other guys. There's 4 cars in a race. It's a 4-car match race now instead of a 44-car melee like it was at the start.
I'd say the way Neumeister made that pass, knew he's got that motor figured out. Keep it on the shelf all year and only bring it here to Mid-Ohio, because that car really rocketed past Stout. But not an unexpected move, as Stout gave him room. Brad actually led the first 5 laps last year and stayed in the lead pack, as you mentioned. Didn't want to lead every lap, because then you might get slungshot at the very end. You want to be in position at the right moment, at the right time, like Lawhead a year ago.
Well, if Newey's able to win this race, he'll probably put that motor back on the shelf and burn some incense and create a little shrine for it.
Here's number 80 of Stephen Davis. Yes, he's won 2 national championships, but this week has been hellacious for him. He was involved in a spin with Brian McCarthy, who came across the track. He launched over him and practiced on Wednesday. The car landed on the left side. Actually hit him with the left side, landed on the right side. 99%. I said, give me a percentage of how much suspension you changed. He said, 99% of it. I think the only thing he kept was the left rear brake drum. That's the only component that's outside the bodywork on Stephen's car that was still in existing shape. He went out and practiced and qualified Thursday on a prayer. The car stuck together. He said afterward, it felt pretty good. It's doing very well. Qualified 8th, and now he's up to 4th. And a great run for him, and a testament to his efforts to get here and maintain his focus over a huge crash on Wednesday.
Trying to hang on to that lead group. He's got a little bit of a gap opening up in front of him and behind Lawhead in the red car, so he's got to try to hang in there if he wants to be in contention at the end. And now among the, I was just about to say, there are a group of cars trying to come up and join. Among them, number 77, Jim Kearney, who was in 6th position. He's now in the gravel trap. I think Siebenaller got involved as well in the 72 car, and that's just going to make the leader situation, those 4 cars in front, even better. A bigger gap is now open behind the lead group because 5th, 6th, 7th, and those cars in that area were just involved in an accident. And right there is Kearney parked in the gravel. He knows his day is done.
Finished 9th last year. He won the silver medal a year ago.
There's the 27 of Skanky. He is also off track and involved. Maybe a different incident there, but Don Skanky from Marco Island, Florida, off the track in the 27 car. He's going again, but dropping down the standings like a rock. Here are your 4 leaders.
He was right in that cluster of 5th, 6th, and 7th. Again, these 4 cars broke away, and those 3 cars got together just a touch. And here again, we mentioned, here's the Bass for the lead. Coming down here is Newey in the lead in the blue car. Stout again. This is the long back straightaway heading. He's posturing early here to say, I want the move, I want the run, I want the line. And Stout gets it back here in the 35 car.
Popped out quickly behind Neumeister there, the leader, the former leader. Now Brad Stout is back in front with that engine he pulled off the shelf in his Formula V race car number 35. As you mentioned, Jim, 13 different kinds of chassis, and Brad Stout is running a Vortec chassis, which are fairly popular here. There's about 8 or 10 of them in the field.
And Newey takes the lead back here, going down the same position every lap. Don't go away, believe me. This is not the last time we'll see the lead change. I guarantee that here in Formula V.
And a very patient race being run by Lawhead and by Stephen Davis behind them. They have not gotten up there to scrap for the lead just yet, but they're watching the 2 men up front who have. This thing is going to get interesting here. We're only a quarter of the way through the race. The SCCA National Championship runoff at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the 12th consecutive year. And it is the 42nd year for this historic event, filled with tradition and, of course, great racing. Formula V has been around since 1965. So for the 40th year for racing these little cars, and they haven't changed a lot either. 4-man lead group right now, and it is Neumeister in front of Stout, in front of Lawhead, in front of Davis. And out of this group right here, we have 3 former champions of the 4 cars who are up in front.
Let's see how they go this time by. This is where the lead changes happen. The last 2 consecutive laps. Brad Stout in the 2nd position there in that purple nose 35. That Vortec coming down in 2nd position now appears to be holding steady. Newey really has a strong pull now off of that turn 2. The keyhole coming down here. No challenge as of yet.
John Bizignano.
Bill, Bill Newhouse is the crew chief for that number 35 car. Right now he's a sandwich out there in second place. But, you know, now he's back in the lead again. Is this the race plan, or did he just want to get out and pull away?
Oh, he talked about not pulling away. I don't know. Bringing some other vortex with him. I think that's what he was going to do, but I don't know for sure.
And the tires are very consistent. The times are incredibly consistent. Even from first and second, he's only a tenth off.
That's his normal run.
Well, let's hope for the best. I'll tell you, with being able to go from first to second almost at will, he can save the car, save the tires, and he certainly knows the weaknesses of the people around him.
Lead swapping seems to be the order of the day, but only between Newmeister and Stout so far. I'm pointing out once again that number 1 Steve Lawhead in the red car has not made a bid for the lead, nor has the green number 80 of Stephen Davis. So we're waiting for a little something to be happening there. But I'm going to bet we're going to wait until the last 4 or 5 laps of the race before they really start racing. They've got together, they have pulled out almost a 9-second lead. So if that was their strategy, and if I guessed correctly, it's working just fine.
And here we go again. Newey on the inside of Stout, now coming down this long backstretch into the corner, and he makes the pass. Again, this is into the keyhole, heading to the back straightaway. So as he made that turn 1, they're flat out in turn 1. Newey again pulls him off the corner. Better motor by now is evident for Brad Stout. He's got to get him in a different spot. He can pass him going in. That's about it.
Let's go to Sandy Hang.
You watch, Jeff has just been watching this lead change in front of him. I'm with Mindy, his wife. What's the strategy here? Is he just watching, or is he not able to get up there and mix it up?
I mean, he said before the race that he was going to try to be patient. The more they dice, the more tire wear. So I think he's trying to make sure he's got enough tires at the end to lead the end.
And he just took second as we were talking.
It's going to be like this until the end, and you just have to wait it out and see who comes out first at the very last lap.
Thanks, Mindy. Going to be a nail-biter, guys.
So the defending champion has now moved into the number 2 spot. Things are starting a little earlier, and I guess they could start racing a bit with each other now, because again, with a 9-second advantage over 5th place, there are only 4 cars in the race right now.
Well, we'll see. Things can change in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen 3, 4, 5 car incidents during the course of the weekend here at the runoffs, and these guys want to keep it clean. Jeff Lawhead now trying to take that position away from Newey as the challenger now. He's in that second position now in that red number 1. Last year's national champion. His drive last year earned him the prestigious President's Cup. It's awarded to one driver the entire weekend who has an outstanding performance, and Lawhead was awarded that 1 year ago for his brilliant pass 2 laps from the finish to earn a championship.
Brad Stout crosses the line in the lead once again. These are your top 5, but only 4 are in contention right now. Let's take a look at what happened up till now. That's when the trouble starts. The green flag waves, and halfway back in the field, they acknowledged it. We already were 2 cars, maybe let's call it 3 cars down in the very first lap of the race. And a little while later, the number 15 car, Jeremiah Grenier from Maryland, off the track in a solo incident, parked in the grass. Here comes number 85 spinning around the racetrack, Dieter Hirsch. But he got pointed the right way, a nice snap around. And up front, we have a 4-man group of racers that have been exchanging the lead fairly constantly. This is Newmeister going for the advantage. It's returned by, the favors returned by Brad Stout, who has led most of the laps so far. And then Newmeister again into the lead. And these two have been going back and forth. Stout once again pops out of the draft and into the braking turn number 4 with Lawhead right behind. And another one with Newmeister taking the advantage. Stalking them has been the red number 1 of Lawhead, the green number 80 of Davis, and finally a pass by Brad Stout for the lead. And Lawhead moved into second spot for the first time a moment ago. And that's where we are right now. Brad Stout in the pink and green car up front. The red number 1 of defending champion Lawhead. Then it's Newmeister in the turquoise car. He pops out of the draft on the outside to make a move. And Stephen Davis has just been sitting back there watching all this happen. At least he's been sitting there watching all this happen so far. Brad Stout remains the leader with Lawhead second, Neumeister third, and Stephen Davis fourth. Three former champions.
It appeared almost they were going 3 wide there, but there was distance. And Lawhead, I think, just protecting his position, saying, no, I want to be the first guy at him. Let me a chance here. Do it. You hang out for a minute. I want to be in second here. But what a great run for Lawhead. He and his wife and the 2 kids were here. They spent the entire week. He said, man, this is fun times. You see Dad behind him. He's got that arm in the sling. That, as Sandy reported earlier, has hampered his effort slightly. But I think Jeff came so prepared and focused for this week. He's been one of the fastest cars all week long, and again sat outside pole. So they had their act together when they got here. Unfortunately for Dad, they had a longer week than expected.
Brad Stout out in front right now with Jeff Lawhead at second. We go a little bit deeper in the field. Here are 5 or 6 cars racing hard, including Douglas Sontag in 19th position and racing very, very hard right there. These guys going after each other pretty determined. You can see that there's the 18 car, Eugene Grimes, out of New York, leading this little group. Puff of dust there as they run a couple of wheels off the side of the racetrack. But a huge pack running just around in the top 20. Led at the moment by the 18 car.
Eugene Grimes says, my hobbies are sleeping, beer, and music. I want to join his fan club.
I'm in his fan club. Starting right now.
He's got a watermelon for a nose in the car. Look at that.
There's a great deal of humor among these drivers, and there's a great shared camaraderie among them as well. They all seem to help and work with each other a little bit. Timothy Remmers from Hartford, Connecticut, taking the advantage in that group. Side by side up front, Lawhead for the lead for the first time. Nope. Tucks back in behind Brad Stout, crosses over a little bit. He might try to get him on the return left-hander here, but he doesn't. Into the S's they go. Still nose to tail with Brad Stout out front.
Lawhead's beginning his posturing. He went to the outside look. He went to the inside look. Opposite of what Stout and Neumeister had done as race leaders. They all went to the inside. Very deliberate move. Kind of a, hey, I'm a gentlemanly move. Pasteurizing past you. Kind of let me in kind of go. Lawhead now doing that juke back and forth. Trying to get on the mind of Brad Stout, who's out in front.
Fake left, go right. Fake right, go left. You got to do it all, and you only have 20 laps to practice and 1 lap to get it done. Brad Stout in front right now with Lawhead, Neumeister, and Stephen Davis following at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course Formula V. Welcome back to the SCCA National Championship runoff exclusively on speed, and we had a change for the lead. Neumeister has gone to the front again. Alert the media. Oh, wait, we are the media. Same 4 cars, slightly different order. Lawhead back in 3rd position. Davis still bringing up the rear in the green car. And I'm thinking he's got something for him. He's waiting. He's saving his stuff, saving his brakes, saving his tires. We'll see if anything happens from the green number 80 of Stephen Davis, also a former champion. Twice in 87 and 92 did Stephen Davis win this title. Neumeister, the leader, is the only one who has not won a championship. Here's the pass.
Lawhead again posturing to the outside. Stout gave a look to the outside, and there go to the inside goes that blue car of Neumeister. Neumeister jukes them both going into the S's.
3rd to 1st. We'll see a lot of that as they pop out of the draft a little bit later on those drum brakes. Here we go with Neumeister leading Stout, Lawhead, and Stephen Davis. 8 laps remain in this race. All the positions scrolling across the top of the screen and the lap times of their most recent circuit. Now, the first 4 are pretty much the only ones that have done 1 minute and 40-second lap times. 1:39 for Neumeister the last time around. There are a scattered few 1:40 laps deeper in the field, but the gap has already opened up to 14 seconds between these lead 4 cars and the rest. So everyone else is just scrapping for crumbs out there. The gold, silver, and bronze medals are going to go to 3 out of these 4 drivers, apparently.
These are 3 Vortex chassis that look very similar on the outside bodywork. It's as if they're drafting in bobsleds, trying to keep together in line, working together, keeping Stephen Davis in that racer's wedge number 80 behind them. That car dates back to, I believe, the late 1970s, early 80s. So Davis certainly knows this car well.
Well, Jerry Ziegler is the crew chief for that number 80 car. Now, you said you didn't want to talk to me. I brought you bad luck. What's that about?
2 years ago, you asked me a question about what I'd tell the driver. I said I would say that just to keep it headed straight. Just after I said that, he crashed at the back of the S's.
Well, sorry about that, but let me tell you something. He's doing a great job now. What's the plan out there? Is he saving the car for the last few laps?
I think all 4 of the top drivers are, and they're going to shoot it out in the last 3 laps. They're going to stay in a single file for a breakaway.
Another Formula V shootout. That's all we need, guys.
Well, I heard him use the term breakaway, and yes, John Bizignano was something of a pariah one year, just circumstantially. And a lot of the drivers began to joke that getting John Bisognano to walk over to your pit was like having Mike Wallace on the phone from 60 Minutes. You know, it wasn't going to be good.
You see, Stephen Davis has lost a bit to those Vortec cars, working very well together. Again, these are spec engines, 1200cc Volkswagen motors, stock suspension components from a Volkswagen Beetle. So it comes down to aerodynamics and drafting here. The Vortec cars working well together.
And while the 4 leaders were racing hard among themselves, incidents continue to happen in the field. Colin Cross was in 8th place, the operative word being was.
Got up in the light gray. The racing line has developed now to where it's a very streamlined effort. He went into the turn 4 way too hot on the outside and ran out of racetrack.
Back to the leaders now with Brad Stout and Jeff Lawhead in that order. Neumeister 3rd and Stephen Davis still bringing up the rear and 4th position. In that the one and only chassis among the 4 that's different. There are 3 Vortec chassis and the Racer's Wedge chassis.
Eugene Grimes in that watermelon nose car has a whole lot of company here coming down into the keyhole. Wow, look at this action.
That's in 17th position. Grimes with the watermelon nose and about 10 cars lined up nose to tail. Call it, well, it's 8 actually, now that I can actually count them. But here comes a big move from 3 back to try to make something happen there. The 6th car of Douglas Sontag. And you know these guys have to be a little bit frustrating because as hard as they're racing, it's pretty deep in the field. Grimes holds on to the spot. Sontag moves up 1 position on the outside, and he'll confirm it with the left-hander that follows.
With as close as these cars are, the 6th car of Sontag is actually a mechanical engineer. So in terms of tweaking the car, getting the most out of it, you'd expect someone like him to put all of that knowledge to work, and it's paying off right now here in the runoffs.
Grimes holding on to the lead position in his little group. 9 car right there with a little puff of smoke. Dave Scaler. These cars are twisted pretty tight, and sometimes just as the driver lifts to shift gears, it'll puff a little smoke, or on the overrun, if he lifts the throttle going into a turn, you'll see a little puff here and there. But they twist these engines pretty hard. They build them, and the trick right now for engine builders like Bill Noble and some of the others in the field out there is trying to find parts. You know, they have to, there's a limited number of junkyards full of Beetles these days.
I talked to Lisa Noble. They actually have gone to Germany. Bill Noble involved with this sport for 33 years. This is 33rd consecutive runoffs. He's in the field today. They just went ahead and had a manufacturer in Germany make some parts for Formula V racing. That's their business, and they certainly have longevity on their side with getting those parts manufactured specifically for Formula V racing to continue.
Lots of zipping around and moving around among these drivers there. The 32, Paul McClory. And here's Marjorie Lundberg, who we heard from earlier in the show, and she's right in the middle of the whole deal there. Running in 21st position. This is a race starting with the 17th placed car. McClory taking over that spot here at the moment. We go back to the leaders with Brad Stout in front. The 3-time champ and pole sitter leads Jeff Lawhead, the defending champion. There's a shot of the drum brakes and the lug bolts that these cars use.
Take a look at these pictures. They are from 1979, the last year that Jonathan Weishaupt campaigned a car at the runoffs. Well, 26 years later, he's back. And this guy is into the exotic and extreme. Not only is he a deep-sea fisherman, his day job is very exotic as well. Tell us about that.
Sandy, we certify the McLarens and a lot of the Ferraris for independent importers in the United States, as well as Bugattis and any of the true supercars. And that's basically what I do all day, every day.
He gets to work with those exotic cars, but he's back at the runoffs because he has unfinished business. 1979, he came in 2nd place. And boy, would he really like that championship medal.
But unfortunately, it's not going to happen this year. In 23rd position just before this incident.
And there he sits right here in the 01 car. That is China Beach. That's the end of the backstretch. And I believe there he is, walking away. His car already in the kitty litter. What a bad break for Jonathan Weishaupt, again, from Baltimore, Maryland, to come here to the runoffs to try to do well after that time away. And boy, I'd like to work with him just for one day to get a ride in one of those cars once I drive one.
Yeah, let's send in some resumes. Here's the incident as they come into the area near China Beach, into turn number 4, and 2 cars locked together.
A strong move on the inside by the 3 car there, Brian. Really sent them off course as he went down the inside. Let's take a look on the very inside of the racetrack. He just came down the corner very to the inside. This was the arc of the other driver. Jonathan Weishaupt had the position coming in. And the 3 car just kind of came in there and did not have enough room to make it through the corner.
Takahisa Yamaoka, driver of the 3 car, moving his helmet. He's out of nearby Stowe, Ohio, to the runoffs in a Formula V car. Total of 3 cars involved in that incident. One of them went off the track to avoid the problem and continued, I do believe. In any case, two of our drivers are out of the race, and now we have a 3-driver lead group. The 3 Vortec cars have left Stephen Davis slightly behind. Lawhead going for the lead with Stout. Stout holds the inside spot. Lawhead can't make the pass work there, and they fall back in line with Neumeister bringing up the rear of the 3 of them now. Davis trying to close some ground, and as long as they dice hard like this, he might be able to.
Lawhead in second. In third is Neumeister. Fourth is Davis. Now keep in mind, Stout knows how to get this car working properly. Lawhead had a great move on him. Similar to Neumeister earlier, he got concerned with another competitor, and Neumeister was the pick, so to speak, went from third to first. That's how Lawhead made the winning pass on Stout a year ago. So Stout, I think, is very wise to the maneuvers. Mirrors on both sides of that Vortec as he goes to the carousel here. He's got a little distance now on Lawhead. Lawhead, I think, is regrouping at this point.
And looking at Stephen Davis driving up in the back there, his car starting to move around quite a bit. And so it could be that at this point, with only 4 laps to go and coming up on 3, and 3 laps to go as we speak, that the tires are starting to go away on all these cars, and Stephen Davis is just having a little more issues than the others. But he continues to chase. There's always hope, and in Formula V, there's always a chance. Welcome back here to Mid-Ohio Sports Car. Of course, looking at the lead group, Brad Stout, the 3-time champion. Jeff Lawhead, the defending champion. Neumeister in the turquoise car going for the lead. Well, at least second position here. Has never won a championship, and bringing up the rear, Stephen Davis, also a former titleist in the class with 2 titles to his credit in '87 and '92. Oh, I guess the Cinderella story here has to be Neumeister, since he's the only one that hasn't earned a gold medal in the runoffs yet.
The way he's finishing off the straightaways at the very end, the top end of this motor that sat on that shelf all year is certainly not being exercised until it has to be. Here at the Mid-Ohio Runoffs, they have 3 days of qualifications. It's a full week of practice on Monday, 3 days to qualify. That engine perhaps fresher than some, because these guys may race 1 or 2 motors all year long at some national and regional events.
Brad Stout in front of Neumeister. Bob Neumeister from Pueblo, Colorado. Stout from Missouri. Davis from Georgia. We've got quite a mix. There is the defending champion's wife. There are the crew, and these guys are always very attentive on pit wall as their drivers come by. They're off into turn number 1 now, heading up towards the keyhole. Pops out of the draft there, going into the keyhole, does Neumeister for a move to the lead. Let's see if he's able to make it happen. He's going to have to come across the path of Stout. Wow. And he's on a wide line, brings it back. Stout can't make up any ground going in, nor coming out. So Bob Neumeister has the lead right now, and only 2 laps remain in this race.
Neumeister wiping the windscreen of his helmet as he again just was running behind Brad Stout for a couple laps. And here they come, the 2 past champions, trying to draft back Neumeister on the inside. Neumeister, a wide run down the backstretch, may have cost him the lead again.
3 wide into the turn, and they all shuffle spots except for Stephen Davis still in the back there. But it is Brad Stout now leading Jeff Lawhead, leading Bob Neumeister, and Stephen Davis. Inside 2 laps to go. They're in the S's. They'll only be here 1 more time.
Stout was able to pull away on Lawhead last time around.
First pass for the lead in this race. Neumeister pops out of the draft, and we've seen these 2 exchange the lead many times, and the repass looked pretty much exactly the same. So Neumeister's got a strategy that's working for him.
As much momentum these cars carry, got 1200cc stock Volkswagen motors. Neumeister was committed to the outside. His momentum carried him there, and Stout brought along a drafting partner down the backstretch in that red car, Jeff Lawhead.
Stout, Lawhead, Neumeister, and Davis coming around the final corner. 1 lap to go. Cindy signaling as well. And so Brad Stout and Jeff Lawhead and Bob Neumeister, the first 3 cars right now, with Stephen Davis bringing up the rear as he has been. If he's going to make a move, not sure he has anything for him.
Stout is pulling away. We'll see how he breaks into this keyhole again. Neumeister set him up on the outside last lap. This time Stout has a 4-car length advantage, make it 3 heading into this final. Right-hander 180 again. This is the final chance down the backstretch. That's where all the passing has been done to this point for the lead position. Stout's in control.
19 times to practice, 1 time to do it for real. Let's see what happens as they get to the end of the long back straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. Brad Stout with probably a bigger advantage than he's enjoyed a few times before this. Popping out behind Lawhead comes Neumeister for second. Stout's going to hold on to the lead. Neumeister's going to have to drop in behind Lawhead again. Now Lawhead making a move, coming up to the left-hander. Stout blocks the line very efficiently. Neumeister with nowhere to go but to stay in line as well.
Lawhead had a whole lot of steam coming down that backstretch. He was hoping for a chance, a peek to the inside of what would be that first right-hander into the S's, and it didn't happen.
And Cindy Lawhead having a look here as Stout leads Lawhead. Lawhead trying to make a move again. They're in the S's. Here comes Neumeister in a parked car on the racetrack. They're able to avoid all of that. The number 48 car gets going again. Jim Petrak out of Danville, California, without incident to the leaders. But something has happened here that Stout is able to really pull a lead. Lawhead and Neumeister and Davis dicing together back there have given Brad Stout a great advantage. And it looks like a certain win here. They're going to have to gather it up or else settle for silver and bronze.
Lawhead, I believe, may have burnt the gas of that car spinning. That allowed Stout to break away. He's just posturing and holding on for the silver, and he'll get it.
And the win is going to go to Brad Stout, his 4th championship in Formula V. So he adds a title in 05 to go along with a 1998 championship and a pair in 01 and 02. Brad Stout is your 2005 Formula V champion. He has led many of the laps in this race, and he led the one that counted.
Great charge by the 05, trying to gain position. That's Brian McCarthy, who was up as high as 5th. That was the car that Stephen Davis made contact with in practice. He had a great run going, trying everything possible in the final turn, final lap. Then McCarthy from 7th down in the order will try to cross the finish line. It appears that, however, his rear suspension here is broken. You see the wheel off over here. McCarthy almost the top 5 at the runoffs. Would have been a great way to celebrate the offseason. Not going to happen.
He held on to 5th position for virtually the entire race, leading the pack that was chasing the lead 4 cars. We still have a lot of racing going on back deep in the field here for Formula V. Only the first 12 are across the line. McCarthy slipping back through the standings with his car parked right at the finish. There's the watermelon nose car. And as they come through the carousel, Grimes in the number 18 and in 2nd position in this group. They come across the line, the 25 cars right there with them. Eddie Cadena out of Houston, Texas. And here's the fellow that McCarthy that just crashed almost at the very end of the race. Here's another look at it. As they come through for the final corner, he avoided the car in front of him, and then this happened.
Tried to gather it back up. I believe he was racing with a couple of cars there, very close at the end. It could have been Varson's at the very finish to try to get the top 5 run.
Just outside the top 10. But McCarthy held on to the 5th spot for quite a while. Oseth is the one who ended up in that spot, so it was him. Here is your champion, however. Brad Stout of the number 35 car brings it home with his Goodyear Penske Noble engine and a Vortec chassis. It'll go to victory lane. Coverage of the 2005 SCCA National Championship runoff is brought to you by High Endurance Oils from Mobil, the oil that's changing oil. Top 5 results. We saw the 4 at the head of the class here for quite a while. Steve Oseth earning his 5th place position coming off the final corner with the misfortune to McCarthy. Let's go down to John Bisognano.
Well, first of all, we have to get the medal on you. 4th time championship. Here we come with the medal now. Bill Rollhouse, he was in your pit taking those times.
Thanks, Bill.
Listen, you said 2 things that really impressed me. Number 1, Triple Crown.
Triple Crown. 2nd time we've gotten the Triple Crown. We've missed it once or twice before just by 1 win, either here or in the division. So we're really excited about that. We want to dedicate this race to Bland McCoy, my crew chief of 12, 13 years, who just passed away in June. His son came up from Costa Rica to be with us here this weekend, so there would be a McCoy present. I got to tell Bland before he passed away I expect him to be riding with me at the runoffs this year, and I truly felt his presence out there today.
Well, actually, he said that he was talking to him on the last lap. Sandy Heng.
Well, Jeff Lawhead now is getting his silver medal. You put on quite a show. What lead swaps hanging in there? Wow.
Well, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, great competitors, as you could see. I mean, we are very evenly matched, and Brad just got away. We got a little traffic in the back on the last lap. It kind of broke us off, but I thought I had a chance on him in the last corner, but didn't set it up.
Great race. Congratulations on a silver.
Thank you very much.
Our congratulations as well. A total of 6 lead changes, and that was only at the start-finish line among 2 drivers, and they were primarily the gold and silver medal winners. And let's take a look at all the results here. Stephen Davis was able to make a move when it counted and earn a bronze medal after hanging out at the back the whole time, so he gets that done. And all of the results here, Lisa Noble, nice job getting up from 18th to 9th position. We just saw her name a moment ago, and Bill Noble did not finish here today. Let's go back to Sandy Hang.
Stephen Davis, silver medal. Where'd you come from?
Hey, I came from Georgia. How about that?
Hey, you were patient back there watching it all. And then at the last lap, last corner?
Well, patience isn't exactly the key there. I just couldn't keep up. But I stayed close.
But you got a silver medal. We got to walk over here, too, because this is a guy who gave us one heck of a show. Bob Newmeister, wow, what an ending.
Yeah, I thought I had third cinched, and back marker looped it coming up out of 11. We almost came to a stop, and Steven got inside of me, and there wasn't a thing I could do about it.
But a great run. We enjoyed watching the race. 4th place. I tell you what, this guy could have had a championship medal had it been for just a little bit of a different move at the end, guys.
From green flag to checker, Formula V always gives us a lot of excitement. Some of it isn't the kind that the guys behind the wheel would like very much, but it's interesting and fun nevertheless. Brad Stout, our champion, led 16 out of 20 laps, including the one that counted.
We knew it was exciting. They had a couple of spinners, but a couple of guys advancing 10 or 20 spots. But once the 4 got away, they got away for good and avoided some messes like this one in China Beach.
It's always exciting and it's always fun at the SCCA Runoffs. And with that, we'll leave you for the time being. For John Bizignano, Sandy Hang, and Jim Trado, I'm Brian Drebert.